Okay, audio tested, good. So now we move on to the game, because I'm back.
From the rest of New Eden. And also this might be the period where the Talican also evacuate from Orbital Space, because as you might recall, if any of you have lived there
Probably
were
turn that up.
of disease and evacuation. And
Maybe.
the guess is that
Yeah, I'm gonna turn that up.
either because of the Jove disease or the others, which we'll get to in a bit. But as inevitably happens, the Jove did not die in their fullest form. They attempted to form a third empire, and they were to some degree successful. They were few in number. The Shrouded Days were essentially a black box of history that they knew as a near brush with extinction. As a people, they were nearly wiped out. And what's interesting about this is that for the Jove, considering their lifespans, they remember the Shrouded Days much as we might remember World War II. It is in recent memory for the Directorate Jove that this happened, that they managed to avoid extinction. Of course, while they were few in number, while they were
back.
infinitely weakened,
More mining. Mining.
Give them credit for instance,
Who showed up?
They can be credited to some degree
Nobody
with the
showed
independence of the Minmatar Republic. They most certainly provided the Kaldari with capsule technology, which which preserved the Kaldari state in the face of the Galactic Federation's attempt to reunify the Federation. And so they made a tremendous mark on modern New Eden. But, well, that essentially brings us to modern day. And you might be wondering, that lightning tour of history is like, where does it come from? Because it's not from a single place. You can't just go, oh yeah, that's all of it, that's cool. And because EVE Online as a game in a world has been developing now for over 15 years, the first Chronicles were being released well before the release of the game, there are a lot of potential sources for Jove lore. You get something like EVE Source, which is a fairly broad sort of empire perspective understanding of Jovian history. Then you have something like Templar 1, which gives you a very specific narrow dive into sleeper lore from the perspective of one of the factions directly involved. To the point, actually, that's hilariously biased at points, where, you know, the character who is essentially a mind scrape of a Directorate Jove who is hunting the Enheadwani and then shipped back as an altered version of that Jove to tell the story of the Enheadwani, basically says that the Directorate Jove are the progeny of the Sleepers. I'm pretty sure the Directorate Jove would disagree, but But in any case, what's relevant about this is that there are a number of authors, and there are a number of terms that are used in some authors' writings and not others. So we end up with this webwork of relationships that we have to trace out. And of course, then there are other chronicles, as you see there. The Jovian Wetgrave, Mithras Gate is a more recent one.
Active.
We'll get into it more later. But let's start talking about the current state of all the Jovian factions so that we see where things lie as they are. And obviously the Directorate Jove are the most familiar to us, and they're gone. I mean, that's as simple as you can put it, they're gone. Not dead. They specifically say that they are not necessarily dead, that they are gone. So you end up with this recurring theme in Jovian history, where the Jove pack onto motherships, in cryostasis, and go away. It's like, okay, it's time for us to try again somewhere else. And so it's entirely possible that in that Tolkienian fashion, they've gone west. There might be millions or billions of Directorate Jove just sort of floating out in the dark, headed somewhere. And we might see them again. Or we might never. Or they might all die in a fire. Who knows? But of course, what's interesting is that while the Directorate Jove have essentially ceased to exist as an entity, their space is still there. Their stations are still there. Sort of. Their stations are, of course, not being maintained. They're falling apart. They're rotting. Literally, it's called nano-rot in the Inheritance Chronicle. So if we make it to Jove space, which, I mean, you know, hoping, it's entirely possible that we will find space completely bereft of any infrastructure, and we will end up having to be the ones to create all of the stargates and the stations that we use. So whereas the rest of nullsec, you've got the gate network pretty much figured out, in Jove space, maybe that won't be the case. Maybe you'll have to figure out how to get from one system to the other, link stargates, and colonize in all senses of the word. Of course, this is completely tinfoil. I'm sure a developer would go, oh god, please don't say that. But that's sort of the vision that I imagine at least someone at CCP has. What's also noteworthy, though, is that there were a bunch of Jovian corporations that were operational in New Eden, in known space. And many of these corporations had in fact been staffed by regular humans. So there might be a few Jove who had been left in these organizations, but they still functioned even in the absence of the Jove, which is where the society comes in. Because they were well and truly the beneficiaries of the Jovian Directorate's legacy. They have immeasurable technology that they have been bequeathed by the Jove, and they also have considerable political power. And this is a relatively recent thing. Like, the society has always been there as a sort of shady, totally an educational institution. Totally
Where did this come from? Is that mine? I leave that out here?
What you will. But they are also advocates for the Capsuleer in a way that so many other powers in New Eden aren't. I mean, the Sisters of Eve, the really totally not creepy ones, would love all of the Capsuleers to die in a fire. And there's actually a book about that. It's called The Burning Life. In any case, the society is a major player, and in fact, without a doubt, they have been at the center of some major events in recent years, to the fact that, in theory, FanFest is happening at a Society of Conscious Thought consulate in New Life 3. Random facts. And then, of course, we get to progressively more mysterious Jovian factions, like the Sleepers. Yes, I do call them Schrodinger's Jove. It's because they're locked in a server. We have no idea if they're dead or not. Simple as that. And by that I mean say, well, yes, okay, they're alive, sort of, accepting that they don't even know that they're in reality. They are another of those cautionary post-human tales where they have taken to virtual reality to such a degree that they don't realize that they're not in the real world. So, as we're all destroying sleeper drones for a tasty, delicious salvage to build T3Cs, which, you know, hey, awesome. We might be committing genocide. Maybe. Yes. Almost certainly. But what's worth noting is that with the catastrophic destruction of their infrastructure, we don't necessarily even know how well networked that virtuality, that sort of matrix-like construct that they live in is. So it could be that there are untouched, pristine virtualities where, you know, they're sort of like, oh yeah, we're aware of what's going on, we just sort of don't care. Or there might be other ones where they're essentially in a nightmare state where they are locked in the pods from the Matrix, sort of going, get me out of here, and of course being trapped. We really don't know. Which of course leads us to the next we really don't know faction. So in wormhole space you have the Talican and the Sleepers, and we'll get to the Talican, believe you me. But the others are another one that exists, that are mentioned in the lore. And these are essentially sort of like Agent Smith, except sleeperified. They arose naturally in the construct as a product of essentially leaving a server running for a few thousand years, which I'm sure for anyone who does IT sounds like a great idea. But somehow, evidently, you get, like, artificial sophons who don't really like life or artificial reality out of it. Or at least in some cases you do. I'm sure in other cases they are in fact cooperating with the Sleepers. I'm sure in other cases they are totally Skynet. We don't know. And because we don't know how the Sleeper infrastructure is connected or whether it is, there could be millions of stories of how the Sleepers and the others interact in the virtuality. Of course, when we talk
Sleepers
about
right there.
we also have to talk about our favorite Jovian faction, the Drifters.
Oh no, Drifters. These are Drifters.
No idea still who the Drifters are.
Or Sleepers.
There
I
are
don't
lots of
know.
guesses. Oh, believe you me, we guess all the time. But the simple thing is that we have pointers in multiple directions. And I know that first bullet point sort of like, I aim suggestively. Come on, guys. But honestly, it's true. Just from the name itself, Drifters. Okay, they were adrift. Were they drifting purposefully? Where were they drifting? They're from the depths of wormhole space. What does that mean? They didn't come from wormhole space as we know it. Did they come from the shattered systems? Did they come from elsewhere? Were they from far, far away, and then when Carolyn's star blew, they went, oh, that was the direction we were meant to be going?
Mhm.
We don't know. But of course, another of their names, Vigilant Tyrannos, Watchful Tyrants. Tyrants, where have we heard that one before? Huh. So they could also be Second Empire Jove, who had been trying to find the cure for the Jove disease, and came back to New Eden to find that, what's going on here, dudes? What are these people? They don't look like Jove. We don't like that. But, of course, whatever we make of the Drifters, it's clear that they have advanced space-time manipulation technology. They have recurring themes of corruption, which could play any number of roles, including tying them with the others, or possibly other Jovian factions. But, of course, they could be not alive by any measure whatsoever. The Drifters are essentially reanimated sleeper cadavers, or Jovian cadavers, brought to some semblance of life through advanced cybernetics, and we don't know what's riding around in that meat puppet. And, I mean, I call it meat puppet for a reason, because they may as well just be AI drones that are piloting Jovian bodies and sort of going, cool, I have a body now, that makes me a person, right? What's
Yeah,
interesting
it sure
is
does.
that there is a mention in the Inheritance Chronicle of a Talican stellar lattice, a Dyson swarm, whatever you want to call it. It's a massive array of wormhole generators in sort of a sphere around a star. And this has defenses against AI intrusion. The Talican really did not like artificial intelligence. And interestingly, in the Drifter hives, you have the Nexus, which we first encounter as this spiky space urchin-y thing. We found it like that, and then when we next saw it, it was completely destroyed. Now, presumably the Drifters didn't destroy it, but if they are no longer recognized as human by Talican technology, what's to say Talican Defense didn't just go, screw this, gate's gone, sorry guys.
Mhm.
We don't know, but it would explain why players have to be the ones to align that infrastructure. But I digress. Of course, then we get to yet more mysterious factions, and I put them on the same slide for a reason. The Enhedwani are a faction mentioned solely in the writing of Tony Gonzalez. They are a naturally mysterious, shady, shadow government type. They are a Jovian faction that is attempting to suborn and direct the development of New Eden, of all of us, and they were once upon a time the caretakers of the sleepers. Interestingly, in Tony Gonzalez's writing, he never once, a single time, mentions the Talican. In Wormhole Space, you never once see mention of the Enhedwani. The Talican are everywhere. Which sort of raises this question. It's like, okay, if the Enhedwani are masters of space-time manipulation,
I take my drone.
teleporting, and were the caretakers of the sleepers, and in
Y'all
Wormhole
see
Space,
that?
the
This guy
Talican
looked like
were
he was
masters
trying
of
to take my
space-time
drone.
technology and clearly had some sort of involvement with the sleepers if they
Man, these
coexisted,
guys
which
freak
is
me
still a
out.
question that I think is sort of, it's not settled, but I consider it settled. Let's move on. It could very well be that these factions are in fact the same, simply known by different names. CCP, of course, won't ever confirm that because they'd like that we guess. And then we get to these guys. Yeah, I'm sure you were waiting for this one. So obviously the presentation had to be submitted a couple of weeks ago, so there were some
Triglavians.
uncertainties as to what would be going on. A few. They might be a Jovian faction. I say might. I'm sure that in about 3.5 hours,
Where you guys
when
going?
we get to the lore panel, Delegate Zero will laugh and then crush all
Another
our
asteroid
ears.
belt?
You nod, but it's true. It's true. But the relevant thing is that there was a chronicle very sneakily released a month and a half ago by the name of Mithras Gate. And I'm going to dive deeply into this one because it's really juicy. It was one of those little throwaway chronicles that has lots of hints, and given its timing... So, first, just the name of the chronicle, Mithras Gate. Mithra is a Zoroastrian god of oaths, binding, judgment, light, order. Interesting. It also references Roman Mithraic cults, which we don't know much about. We know very little about these, excepting that they were mystery cults, that they had orders of initiation, that they had ceremonies that were conducted in hidden places beneath places of power. There are thousands of Mithraic temples that are known, but we know nothing of the civilization, or rather of the cult that built these, or I should say very little. Which sounds sort of familiar, doesn't it? I mean, you know, abyssal dead space, hidden places, people doing secret things. But then we get into the actual content of the chronicle
40.
itself. And in this, an angel cartel rebel type is exploring a Jovian Second Empire installation. And there are a lot of multiples of 3 that are in there, like 6 banks of clone capsules for stored clones. 3 of them are empty. A thing for entangling communications between Jovian biotech implants that has 3 implants. So, Triglav is a Slavic god figure that is a 3-headed god, king of the underworld, the earth, and heaven. Alternatively, portrayed with a human head, or rather 3 human heads with blindfolds so that he can see and speak of no evil, or 3 goat heads because, hey, cool, let's roll with it. What if the Triglavian collective, what if at the most basic level, their solution to some of the troubles and the fractiousness that the Jove are facing was to bind 3 Jove as one?
Okay, 15 minutes in.
3 Jove who communicate, whose minds are linked and shared. And so, for instance,
We'll go.
a lot of the times that we see Triglavian ships, they're also in 3s. Interestingly. So, that's a little bit of
We'll
tinfoil.
do
Honestly,
another round, another run.
about them, but it is entirely
And then we'll go
possible, or
back
even
to the
likely, that
security,
the
level
Triglavian
1
left
security
its Jovian
missions.
faction. So, hey, that'll be fun to figure out more about, and I'm sure we will learn a bit, but not enough to resolve that mystery.
Invited you to join a plot.
So before we get to
I'm in a
more
corporation!
Q&A and tinfoil session, I just want to give some quick shout outs to people who've been flying with us, who've been doing decryption work, who have been doing all sorts of work of that sort. I should note that this list we did have
I'm in a corporation.
as part of the presentation weeks ago, so it's not up
Cool.
to
Let's
which
go.
really sucks, to be honest, because there are a lot of people who
Chat.
deserve a
Create
lot
new.
of credit
No.
for what we've
Quit.
been
No.
doing, and it's been hilariously fun.
Ooh, that doesn't look good.
So that said,
Bird, 4 days ago, 51, 16, Stargate commands,
who has a question or
Goblin,
Oh,
Goblin,
yeah, Mike.
Light Cannon.
We've got 2 hands there.
What is going on here?
Thank you. Hello.
Members.
So, I have quite some questions, so I don't know how many I get.
Last online. Online now.
Yeah, of course. Lists are good. I like lists.
Okay, so my first question was about the influence of Jove society on the actual shape of
Hello.
the game, because you mentioned the Mithras Gate Chronicle, and in it we learned that the Jove installation they visit is actually the comet that led the Amor Retribution. So we can guess that with the Jove observatories that the Jove pretty much shaped the empires. Yes, no, what are your questions?
So, okay, so let me restate just to make sure I've got it, because did not sleep well last night. Anyway, moving on. So the question is basically about whether there's a link between
corporation
Comet Outpost and Jove observatories, and whether the Jove observatories are Second Empire Jove Directorate Jove, or
a long way away.
who they're linked to, basically.
Mini corporation. Stargate command.
Shaped.
Cool.
Actually.
All right.
Okay. Yes.
Oh, I kind of wish I had some.
Here's an interesting thing that Amar loyalists will probably
I wanna
go,
talk.
So, the earliest days of the Amar faith involve a situation.
I want to talk.
A miracle use the glad hands for that for a reason, where these masked figures come down on a pillar of fire from heaven, the Sephrim, and they are masked, and they extend the life of Amashakura, I think.
So, do we have
Specialist by any means, so
comms?
I'm probably going to get a lot of this wrong. But anyway, so these Sephrim come down from on high and preserve the life of this one favored Amar ruler for centuries. And over this period, the Amar religion expands, and they establish themselves as the dominant force on their world. Coincidentally, the dates of this more or less coincide with the later period of the first Jovian Empire, when the elders were doing their thing and were really great with life extension technology, which also happened to be something that was employed, we assume, with this Amar emperor, assuming of course that it wasn't in fact miracle, but was in fact, oh hey, advanced aliens, and by aliens I mean Jove, going, we want to see what happens with this religion. So, as to the question of whether or not the Jove have been deeply involved in the history of New Eden, the answer is yes, absolutely. When for instance, I mentioned that they were also involved in the Minmatar Rebellion and the establishment of the Republic, yeah, they were the ones to use spooky Jovian cloaky industrials to transport Galente small arms and heavy weapons across the border into what would become the Republic. So there have been points where they have been impressively hands-on. So yes, the Jove have a great deal of involvement. So
yeah, I have two questions, but they are short. The first one is, could it be possible that the Triglavians are not related to the Jove, but that they might be Talokan? I mean, they live in some sort of weird space pocket. I mean, that's very Talokan stuff. The other thing is, I remember back in the days when the observatories appeared, we would be speculating hours and hours who built them and what they were for. Has there been any development on that speculation in the meantime?
okay, so the first question is whether or not the Triglavian collective could be Talokan in nature, and absolutely.
I don't think
that
we
is
have
sort of one of
comms.
my preferred pet theories at present. We don't necessarily have anything to directly link them. It would make sense for this secret society of Jove who were attempting to guide New Eden to be hidden away amongst us the entire time. And certainly advanced space-time manipulation technology is something that would link those two factions, considering that I'm sort of the mind, though it's not confirmed, that the Talokan are themselves the Jovian faction. So yes, I agree that is a fascinating theory, and I want to see more that would possibly allow us to confirm it or deny it. It's still too tenuous for us to do much more than theorize on that. As to the Jove Observatory infrastructure and which faction might be responsible for that, so what's interesting is that if you review the gleaned information logs that you get when you entosis those Jove Observatories, I'm going to show backstory. Oh hey, you can entosis Jove Observatories, and they give you like little history logs from New Eden as the Jove are monitoring and going, yes.
Okay, no more mining.
The last of those logs is actually from basically
I'm
at the point where the Jove
going
observatories are
to
being
go
decloaked.
somewhere.
So, considering that they started decloaking during,
I'm gonna go do
or
my
rather,
missions.
as a possible product
I'm gonna
of
do the
Fairlight
security
Star,
missions, level
and
1s.
considering that they were active in a period where the director at Jove were already in the process of evacuating, and considering also some of the interesting we're using New Eden as a petri dish stuff, it would certainly make sense for the observatory to actually be and Hedwani installations.
Combat.
Again, this is one of those tinfoil things where, interestingly, from a technical standpoint, there are a lot of things in the database
Security
that are
agents.
Sleeper, Drifter, Jove, Talokan,
20 of
that
them.
all end
Oh,
up sort of randomly
track
having
that.
their race attributes scattered between any of those. So, like, the Drifter Hive is a Jove station, the
close
Jove
that.
Observatory is a Jove station, Drifter battleships are Jove battleships. It'll be interesting to see what the Triglavian Collective go into the database as. Actually, wait, we should probably look at that. Hey. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, there's a
those
model
placeholders,
battleships.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure those are placeholders, though. Okay, next up.
tinfoil, the Triglavians or Yin or another one of the Cosmos factions that haven't been
Guardian
used yet.
tungsten.
So, the Yanjun are certainly a possibility because they are also mentioned as being masters of gravitational manipulation, which would also link them in. And that's the one that really hasn't been touched at all. So interesting backstory. The Cosmos constellations, if I'm recalling correctly, were made during a period when EVE Online was sort of, or rather CCP was playing with more theme park content. And what they realized that, well, people...
I got all super excited about joining that corporation, and the two people that are there, probably one person, they're not talking to me.
In a major way, hence Talican and Sleepers originally being in Cosmos constellations and on. You already know this, I'm just saying this for everyone else. But yeah, it is entirely possible that they could also be Young. That's again one of those things where it's like, we have to see what they do with it. So, next.
I sort of preface this.
Right through that
I'm not
planet.
really into the lore that much, but this Triglavian type stuff, being able to go into like mad deep space, does that not sound like technology that the Eve Gate encompasses? Could they not be, people straight up from old Earth?
Okay, so I will admit that I did miss some of that, but I did catch the end, which is deep
So
space
basically,
and
the
over.
Triglavians from old Earth, the technology that we use to go into this deep dead pockets of space sounds a lot like the Eve Gate to me.
Yeah, so we get into sort of tenuous territory there. CCP has, like, some of the developers have said that they don't ever want to do, like, Terran stuff because it sort of, like, it breaks the coherence of the story of Eve to suddenly have something from way out over there. The flip side is, though, that Terran technology is at various points either discussed as being supremely powerful or really sort of crappy. Like, for instance, like the warp drives in Templar 1 that are used by the original settlers are like 0.0000075 AU a second or something, like just above the speed of light. Imagine trying to run a freighter around like that. I mean, yeah, exactly. Imagine the acceleration, that'd be terrible. But anyway, but by comparison, you also have the super weapon used by Jamil, which has actually been brought into the game generally as the Keepstar super weapon, which is a pretty nasty little weapon right there. And so, some places that technology is extremely advanced. So could it be that, in fact, the Triglavian Collective is a collection of uncollapsed humans that never faced a dark age? Conceivably? I mean, as said, we don't really have many pointers, so there are a lot of options out there, which is why I go to Mithra. Mithra's so much fun, because it could be the only indication we have at present. But again, that could just have been something thrown out there to start making us look at numerology and go, what?
I was mining, but and now
The Eve lore is about how
running
years old. And there were a lot of
level
also
1
storytime writers that are long gone. Is it
security,
absolutely nothing to do with the old storyline, and that you're trying to fit evidence
in jail?
So, yes, absolutely. That is a thing that should be
Do we have
considered
comms?
at any point, which is why it's important, for instance, to recognize that, for instance, the Triglavian could just be a completely new faction of people with no connection to any prior faction. I will say two things, though. At one point, I was harassing the lore developers, as you do, and I was commenting on inheritance and going, so now we know X, and in the course of this discussion, the developer in question said, well, we've never done any public-facing retcons. And I was sort of like, but there are documents that completely disagree on things. They take a lot of, like, jumping through hoops to reconcile them. And of course, he naturally responded that, well, yes, but they're all from the perspective of someone in the universe. Much as Templar 1 is this Enhedwani altered AI version of a director at Joe's brain, or Eve Source is sort of like a general Empire briefing, or so on and so forth. A lot of these can be reconciled if you assume that there is an unreliable narrator. And also, this does get to the fact that the lore developers tend to love leaving a lot of loose ends. Drives us up a wall, but the flip side means that there are always threads that they can go back to and pull on to start a new story. And it enhances the view. So absolutely, you were quite right that the Drifters could be something.
We've set up a Discord, but I'm not on it yet. The other guys will be able to get you on. I told them to send me the link, so I can't put it on
We
out.
have to be wary anytime we start
Info
positing theories, which is why
Cool.
put on the
Okay.
tinfoil hat. What if? Because it's entirely possible, as I said before, and we'll say again, that
Okay.
in about like 3.5
This
hours, Delegate Zero will destroy all my theories,
is
and I'll be in a corner crying.
cool. I
Okay,
haven't.
I've been out of the lore loop.
Haven't been in a corp
Has there been any
for
further,
years.
not necessarily information on the other presence with former Empress Jamil? Or?
Very cool. I haven't been in a
So
corp for
what's
years.
interesting is, so we get a differentiation between the other as a singular entity and the others as the entity in the sleeper construct, or the entities.
The last one.
So the other as a single entity.
My
was the subject
last
of the
one.
Chronicle, and also naturally the Drifters Murjeth killing.
Yeah, let's not go there. It fell apart.
The idea being that probably Drifters didn't like each other, hence the murder death kill, and the potting, and then going, see you guys. It is a theory of some that the Drifters may have used that potting
Background.
to scrape the infomorph to capture or reclaim the other. We don't think we have any indication of it,
Stopped
necessarily beyond pet theories. So we just sort of have
flying.
to look at potential biases of the lore writers.
About
And, in this case, there are some
10-ish
spirited debates about
years ago.
and characters that get a great deal of involvement in developing, Empress Jamil being one of them. So certainly it seems like the lore devs just wanted to axe that character and also have fun stuff for the
No
audience to do.
one
And that may also
flew.
mean that they wanted to axe the other.
Flew.
Or they might have something in store there. This is one of those loose ends that
Flew with
could become quite weighty. Of course,
with
it's worth noting that they have confirmed the continued
back
existence of the other
then
as
is
sort of a demographic thing in sleeper
around
enclaves. So,
anymore.
I think that's what it is. And then,
Okay. Oh, wait. Hey, more than welcome, man.
thank you.
We're a new corp, so we're not very developed yet. Background. I stopped flying about 10-ish years ago, but now I'm back, but no one I flew with back then is around anymore.
Because even if you take the stance that life will fill any niche that that's there, that's left open, it's still a very hostile environment. So
That's fair.
where are they hiding from, or what drove them to hide in such places?
That is indeed a question. So my first comment is I would like to note that we're currently in Iceland. So insofar as the demographic matter of populations filling all available niches are concerned, there's something to be said for that. But also, yes, there is most certainly a question as to why they are in those spaces and why they haven't gone elsewhere. Some of it is likely to be that... Okay, this is going to be a lot of tinfoil. I'm just going to start throwing out theories.
Oh yeah, I forgot about this
What
guy.
if they're hiding from the joke disease? What if they, in fact, were never corrupted by it? If they never caught it, they closed
5
off
of
their instances
5.
the moment it struck.
Alright.
Plague Inc., they're Madagascar. I'm not sure anyone has played that. Okay, you got it. Good. So that could be one thing. Possibly they are a singular faction that decided that they didn't want to try bothering with the Jovian political scene again, which tends to be like the rise and dramatic fall of empires with lots of war in between.
Blow up the Center for
And
Scientific
that might also be one of the
Advancement.
reasons why, for instance, the Jove are attacking, or not the Jove, the Drifters are attacking them now. They've discovered these hidden places.
Shit.
They are
Okay.
attempting to unify the Jove.
I didn't read it. You're supposed to
or they're
read.
attempting to steal technology, or they just want more Jove corpses because they're useful. There are any number of potential reasons for the attack, and there are at least a couple of decent reasons for why they might be hiding away. Certainly, you would think that in the aftermath of the fall of the Second Empire,
Thank you.
they could have reemerged.
Thank
It's
you.
possible some of them did. We really don't know much at all. When it comes to Jovian history, we have only the barest outline. So,
Jumping in here.
maybe next time.
I've got not so much as a theory, but do you have any theories on why the Triglavian and the Drifters are fighting if they are both Jovian?
So one of the things that I didn't actually touch on, I sort of meant to, but, you know,
Uh-oh.
get through the points to get to the fun bit. The Jove have always been
Ah!
very factional.
It just
Their
went
empires
right through the
put
station.
together by the great style and the sheer bloody-handedness of their various makers of empire, which is one of the reasons why they've had so many experiments to attempt to deal with the less pleasant aspects of humanity. The Jove disease essentially sprang from an effort to cull negative human traits from the genome, like hate and anger and so on and so forth. Hence the story of a post-human Icarus. So why are they fighting? Well, why do we humans fight? I mean, when it gets down to it, there are any number of potential reasons why the Drifters would want to attack the Triglavians, even if they're a Jove faction. Unifying the Jove under one banner, usable technologies that the Drifters don't have. They're attempting possibly to further advance their space-time manipulation technologies so they can possibly reactivate Talakan technology. Perhaps the Drifters are even fallen Talakan who want to regain their great height.
I know, right, Pepper? You're just
Perhaps
climbing
they
all
think
over
the
you.
spaces are great and they want to move in.
Come here.
I mean, difficult to access spaces all
There you
through
go.
UV. That would be a great time for the rest of us. Or perhaps it's something as simple as like, oh, they like rogue drones. We do not like rogue drones. Let's kill them all. Okay. So.
Okay.
I'm just gonna take 1 minute to say one of my theory about the fight between Drifters and Triglavian. In my opinion, it's about the mutagen. It's clearly an early theory. It way to have more information, but with the enhancement of the
Reboot.
mutagenic thing,
Hmm.
I
Stop it.
trying to fix the disease with the mutagenic thing because it's a pure thinking. So it could work.
Profile share.
Okay, so with
The
apologies,
boot.
as I'm a bit hard of hearing, I missed half that. So I did catch the bit on biotechnology and it working being the attempt to use biotechnology to. Could someone with better hearing repeat? Thank you. Sorry, it's.
Basically, the idea that the biological components that are available in abyssal space are going to be used to cure the Jovian disease.
Okay. Though I may end up approaching you with a lot of dumb questions. Been kind of crash coursing this thus far. Been putting most of my funds into skills and the core.
Slide, and I wanted to know if there is any proof of
This is me.
between the Sister of Eve and the other, but single row.
Yesterday.
Because in the Sister of Eve arc, we see them work
This is me yesterday.
peacefully with road drones, and we know they worked too with
Very boring.
drifters. It's kind of piling up.
So, the society is an interesting one.
Very boring.
So, there are a few ways to approach this. I'm going to start from a very rogue drone-centric angle. The first thing to note is that we don't necessarily know what made the rogue drones all go rogue at the first time. That could easily have been the influence, well, it could just have been random. It could have been the influence of another rogue artificial intelligence like the others. It could simply be that, oh hey,
Get my thinners ready. Close
that's a
that.
resource gathering tool. Let's subordinate. We do see in a number of cases
Too
rogue
far
drones
away.
being
Cross the legs.
suborned using Jovian
Lean
technology. As you say,
forward.
in a society of conscious thought,
There we go.
in,
Straight in the back.
Sisters of Eve epic arc. We also see it mentioned in the End of the World
This
Chronicles,
jump gate thing.
where a shadowy Jove figure
Center.
gives, I think it's a Thucker pilot, a means.
Whoa.
Actually, wait, no, it's Blood Raider. And
I'm gonna blow that up. What is that above it?
Gives the Blood Raiders the means to temporarily control some rogue drones that are refueling this Terran
EM
super
force
weapon.
field?
And in another case yet, we have confirmed that rogue drones will be used by the Triglavian numbers. So it's certainly
Okay.
the case that when it comes to very strange, creepy, automated rogue drone infomorph control, insofar as
13.
rogue drones have infomorphs, let's move on. There is a curious and recurring connection in Jovian technology between the Jove and the rogue drones. What it means? Good question.
No.
It's good.
No.
Are the drifters
No, far from it.
Triglavians capable
No,
of
far
diplomacy?
from it. You're a streamer? No, far from it.
So, fair question, totally not pointed.
Whew.
So, I think after this we might have time for one or two more, even though the room isn't really taken, probably should not go over an hour. Anyway, there was an interesting thing that was required of by CCP when the Drifter Autopsy was written. So that was done by a number of players who were given
What am I looking
more or less,
like?
freehand by
Oh,
CCP
okay.
to
We're good.
fill in the backstory
Maybe
of the-
move this
or
over a
behind,
bit.
precise placement of the
And
Drifter
then
implants.
put you
They've got a lot of cybernetics in their head.
up a
the
bit
one thing
more.
that
Yeah,
CCP
top of
made
the
sure
head.
was included is that the vocal
Nope.
cords were
Come on.
specifically.
I think my
rendered
duct tape is
inoperable,
melting.
and the jaw was fused. So while this is clear a thematic thing, as opposed to
3
like, oh,
kilometers. Alright, let's go ahead and orbit at
the intent is to
10,
demonstrate
super
that the
fast,
drifters
and start shooting.
either do not value or are actively attempting to prevent individual drifters or drifter drones, whatever you want to call
What
them,
is that?
from communicating. And there are also interesting
Shield.
mentions in the description
I'm
of
inside the shield.
Tyrannos Strategos, essentially what we assume is sort of like the head general, sort of, that the drifters might actually be subject to outside control.
I don't think I'm gonna be able to crack this nut.
A network of drones that are centrally linked and being managed by some entity or entities.
Center of
Of
advancement.
course, with the drifters, we have a lot of threads going a lot of directions.
Large container of explosives.
CCP just threw out those threads so that they could see what we start pulling on. Insofar as the Triglavian Collective is concerned, your guess is as good as mine. Certainly, it doesn't appear to be CCP's intent at this early phase that we will be able to act cooperatively with them. Whether they will want to communicate, certainly with the drifters, they had a specific aim of ensuring that we would not be friendly with them. But I think one more and then
I'm wasting my ammo.
that fellow right there.
A module has run out of charges.
Yes, it has.
Yeah. And actually be ways to communicate with them, even if it's not speech and verbal. I mean, if they're an infomorph society. Yeah. But of course, they don't attempt to communicate, and they haven't for years. So, but let's.
Okay, so the gentleman over there that's gone, but he said, why are they living in this hostile space? The technology that we use in-game to get to their space would suggest that they don't live in this space, and they are exploring for the technology as well in these areas to further progress themselves. They look at them as...
Get out of the explosion zone.
Doing the same thing that we are. Why the hell would you live in that hellhole? Why would you live
No,
in that
I'm gonna blow up. Get out of there.
Like, no matter how highly advanced you are in technology, you're not going to live in a volcano.
Get out of there.
So certainly the acquisition of technology and the containment of hostile technology is a recurring theme with the drifters.
Go.
The drifters were specifically attacking sisters of its own acquisition of technology.
Did I make it?
So if you think about it as sort
I
of
made it. I'm good.
corralling.
Yes. That is a great explosion. Oh, I'm getting a little wash.
The drifters are there fighting the Triglavian for a reason.
Woo!
Certainly the acquisition of technology is, yeah. To me, that would make sense as one of the primary.
Yeah, that was a good one. That was a
But
good
I think
explosion.
at this point, there are other presentations people should get to, so I think we'll call it a wrap.
All right.
Thank you. Thank you.
Glad I saw that container of explosives. I've been sitting there for days.
Feel free to hit me up when you see me wandering about. I can talk about this stuff all day, as you may have noticed. Oh, and if you haven't gotten them already, there are still pins up here, so feel free to swag yourself.
Doing the 20 level 1 security missions. 20 level 1 security missions. Good enough spelling. I just blew up a station. I just blew up a station.
Warp drive active.
How do I say that name? Farrier? Yeah, Farrier? Furrier. Lakey. Furrier Lake.
Then we have far away.
Huh.
A good person is looking.
Docking permission requested.
I'm in jail.
It's probably slow.
Docking request accepted.
All right.
I'm in jail.
Hello, everybody. Wow, what a crazy last night. CCP games, so many bruises, and then pub crawl, different types of bruises. It was a lot of fun. I'm CCP Burger. I'm CCP Nobody. CCP Blue Screen. CCP Midgard. And we are here to represent, we're here representing the art department at CCP for our at EVE Online. We're here today to talk about the art of Abyss on Dead Space. Pretty beautiful. Like we talked about yesterday.
It seems that some rogue scientists just could not leave creation well enough alone. One man in particular. One Vilis Smell. Vilis Sermal has apparently been performing genetic experiments on the fuzzy little critters in a hidden laboratory not far from here. While this is not illegal, the ethics of his experiments are certainly in question. he has, for whatever reason, apparently turned the things into cute, cuddly killing machines. I want one. Huh, I have 2 of them. Never mind. Well, we just received an emergency transmission from the laboratory. Listen. We need help immediately. The coordinates are attached within the frequency, blah, blah, blah. Communication room. They're chewing through the door as I speak. Hurry. Grinding, grinding noise. No, they're coming through. They've gnawed through. Oh, no, no. Oh, poor guys. If you're going to make cute, furry little killing machines, you gotta make them at least big enough that you can grab a hold of them with both hands. Of course, that means they're stronger than you, but, you know. You get the idea, I think. But there's the most disturbing... the most disturbing part. After all the screaming and crashing stops, this comes at the end of the message. Hissing static, distant slurping, and then a small, impish voice. Food, good. Food, good. Bring more food. I shudder to think of it. I'm sure all those scientists are dead, but we can't allow those mutated furries to mix with the general furry population. Yet there are environmentalists out there who would protect those little beasts. Get out there and destroy that laboratory before someone does something incredibly rash. Okay. On my way. Well, we're in the same area, kinda. How far away are you? Oh. Well. Okay, well, I can come do missions over there. If this one isn't a numbered. It's not. It's a one-off. Okay, we can do the one-off and then head over. Yay! Well, I'm gonna finish this. I'm gonna finish this one and head over to you. Just in case you need to shout out for pH physical, physical, I don't know how to spell physical, there's an S in there somewhere, physical, in-person help, ship help, ship to ship help. Sound good? Sound good? Undock. Where'd the mission go? Undock. Oh, get rid of that. Undock. What's going on? For sure, bud. Sorry I was mid-fight with a bunch of drones. Free scrap? Sure. I'm not ready yet, but will Be in 10 men or show. And whoa. Alright, debris, acceleration gate, debris. Ripped substructure. Okay, so not here. I have furry to you need to activate the acceleration gate. I should be turning this in by then. I'll send the station coords when I pull in to chat with the agent. Cool. Okay. Salute. Yeah, I'll bring my salvager. And yeah, the gate is locked. There are synchronized gate scramblers on all hostile entity. I'm getting shot at? Oh. Environmentalist terrorist. You're not gonna stand a chance. Oops. Debris. Ka-chow! Bam! What's with the volume? Audio. Oh. Masters up. World volume. Yeah, that works. Return to game. Oh, I go to that thing. Environmentalists. So much crap here. Go fast button.
Drive active.
Yeah, getting excited now. If only I had a chat to talk to, like here. And what was I typing? I doing here? Infested laboratory. Auxiliary power. Is it around the other side? Go up more. Oh, it's inside. I see it. Get a shot from the top. Yes, I can. Get a shot at that thing right there. Pop. Going up. Go faster. Eco-terrorists. Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo-hoo. I love the booms. Inside that rock, that thing should have split apart. Crazy. Cargo container. Come on, shoot. Oh, this isn't good. What's going on here? Buzz, buzz, buzz. Damn, these guys are just going down. Turn that off. I'm going way too fast. Am I inside? Yeah. Oh, no little furries. Thinking maybe I could get one for myself. What, bud? Am I being too loud for your nap? Come on, right there. There we go. Get out of there. Whew. Okay. Abandoned all nearby wrecks. Good here. Go dock. Whoo! Why do I get so excited? Come on. Oh, I hate this game. Love this game.
Docking permission requested. Docking request accepted.
I love it when I'm the god of the battlefield, and I hate it when I'm the damsel in distress. Complete. Yes, share. I don't mind. Okay, close. Let's go to Ferrer. And let's see, do I have a salvager? Just take the salvage with me. Salvager. Salvager, don't. Yeah, I've got that. I've got that one. Okay, no salvager directly there. Here? No. In your... No. Here, maybe? Empty? Yeah, here we go. Empty's got one. So, we'll just strip you. Empty. Strip fitting. Yeah, strip it. And... close that. Go fitting cat. We'll take, oh yeah, unstack, just take the one off, put a civilian, whatever, it's fine, it's fine, it's fine. Federation Navy thorium tungsten. I like the tungsten. Oh, that's medium charge. I have to use the restroom. Okay. So, I'm gonna go do that, and while I do that, we'll start the next video. So I'll stop this one. That's an hour. Remember I said quantity. I'm doing quantity over quality. So we'll see what happens. So we'll cut that. Bye.